Shout out Near Falls with D-Hall's podcast.
Welcome to Near Falls with D-Hall. He's talking on bars and how they win it all. Yeah, it's Near Falls with D-Hall. The final takedown, the glory or the fall. So loosen up, step on in, wrestle with the need to win. Talking Near Falls with D-Hall. Ready or not, he's here to brawl.
All right. Welcome into another edition of Near Falls in the WPIAL. We are back again, my friend Kaz.
Back like we never left, baby. 2 days in a row, Donnie. Nothing wrong with that.
I was going to say a rare back-to-back, right?
Postseason.
Yeah. If we're not putting in extra work, how can we expect the kids to put in extra work, right? I mean, we got to do our thing.
We know all these kids, a lot of them are doing 2 days. They're getting their cardio in the morning, practice in the evening. So who says we can't either? I know I didn't do the cardio this morning, but getting to working in the evening.
Yeah, I was up early, had to go take NJ over to school. Alex is still recovering, and then we went for a little ride. We had to do some stuff for the house, so we took a little ride out to. Actually, we rode down to like Wheeling, West Virginia, which is like where our bank is for our mortgage. We had some like insurance stuff that we had to take care of for the house. So we rode all the way down to Wheeling, West Virginia, which was pretty interesting. Like right down there by West Lib University. Shout out Hilltoppers. But yeah, man, it was a good day. Just kind of hanging out, and I got a lot of juice on our ending conversation last night. We're not gonna keep talking about that too much today. We're going to dive into the West regional picks and previews, both AA and AAA. So, we're excited for that, but we're glad, I guess, we'll talk about it one more time before we dive into our stuff. I guess for me, Kaz, I'm glad that, people received it well and just know that we have, the kids' best interest at heart. Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head there, Donnie. Not going to beat a dead horse again tonight. We got our rant in. Going to focus on, this weekend for AA and AAA, the preview. And like you said, our interest is for the student athletes. And I think everyone knows that by now.
Yep.
So let's get into it. Let's talk some wrestling. Let's talk about competition we're going to see this weekend.
Yeah, you want to go into AA?
Yeah, we'll start with the AA Southwest region.
Okay, yep. Let's go AA, and we will share that screen. This one. All right, how we see that? Pretty good. Let's maximize it. Oh, went black on me. All right, so let's do from here, Kaz. There we go. So give me your initial thoughts on this bracket. Obviously, we saw what we talked about with Keysecker last night, really having a great tournament, taking out a lot of nice guys, including Bonnie in the finals. But, for this weight class, buddy, it's kind of deputy and everyone else.
Yeah, I mean he's ranked I think he's one in the country.
Yes.
And he's ranked one in this Southwest region. I know Jeff Upson at PA Power does a freaking great job with everything. He literally just revealed I think it was his week 12 state rankings and regional rankings like 3 hours ago. He released it. So I have those up. I'll read some of those off. But he has deputy ranked 1 in the region, Keysecker 2 in the region. I would expect to see those 2 in the finals. There's only one, looking at it, Carter Christ of Quantamont Township. He's the only state qualifier in this bracket. Obviously, deputy and Keysecker freshman. But I think these 2 are on a collision course to meet in the finals. But deputy, man, I mean, he's 1 in the country for a reason. It's pretty much the same conversation we're going to have in about a half hour when we get to AAA 121 and talk about Landon Sidden, right?
Yeah. I would say that's a very good comp there, buddy. As Cooper, and it's pretty wild that he's that good this early. Obviously, 107 freshman, but his brother's pretty damn good. You know, we're going to talk about him in a couple weights. It's just you know, to come in that early and be that good, it is very impressive. And that's not to say like I would say Kiesecker, you know, he's kind of a favorite to make the finals in my opinion at this weight.
Yeah.
So, and you know, there's levels though, no doubt about it.
And the thing that's interesting now that we're getting into the regional tournament is in double A, the top 7 make the state tournament. So
Yep.
that 7th and 8th place match, I mean, there's your blood round. It's one match similar to the WPIAL championships in AAA, where you know top 7 go. So the top 7 finishers will move on here. Those 7th and 8th place matches, they're electric, but you know they're also they're heartbreaking. Let's just be honest, they're heartbreaking for a lot of these kids. Now, luckily, at a weight class like 107, odds are they all are underclassmen. You don't see many seniors here. But once you get into the upper weights, there's going to be a lot of kids that wrestle their last high school match this weekend in that match. And I mean, there's a lot of heartbreak in that round. You call it the blood round for a reason, right, Tony?
Absolutely, buddy. Absolutely. And you know, that's why I think not even to get into NCAAs too much, but that blood round, the dog blood round, the semifinals blood round, it's like the best round ever. But yeah, the 7th, 8th place match is going to be really wild here, and that's kind of like why we were flipping out last night, is because you know if you see this properly, then the proper kids are more than likely wrestling for 7th and 8th.
Yes.
Because you don't see this properly, the proper kids aren't having the chance to make it. Sure, there's going to be some kids that slip through, and that's, you know, there's opportunities everywhere, right? You seize the opportunity. This is America. But, you know, I just want to have the best kids at the state tournament. And because it's not seeded, it just creates a lot of craziness.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah. And I fully agree with the statement that at some point you gotta beat somebody.
Absolutely.
I completely get that, but there's a way to go about that.
Yep. All right, 114, buddy. Let's look at this weight class here. You see another dairy boy at the top here, Patrick Bolger. You know, he is the number 1 seed coming off the WPIAL championship. Javion Chambers is down there at the 6th seed. There's a couple good spots here for the WPIAL. I think Javion Chambers got a nice little spot down there. But what do you think here, my friend?
So you have again the Bulger, Chambers, and Ickes out of Chestnut Ridge. To me, those 3 are a step above here.
Yep.
But we've seen Bulger and Chambers 3 weeks in a row now, or 3 out of the last 4 weeks, 2 in favor of Bulger. Chestnut Ridge and Derry wrestled, but I don't know if Ickes wrestled Bulger in that duel, because they
I'm looking it up right now, my friend.
There's if they did, I'm gonna say Ickes won, just because based on the seeding criteria, Bulger. I'm assuming Bulger would have won. Because they have Bulger seeded 1, Ickes 2. Neither of them have criteria points from last year, prestige points from last year. And even if there's a discrepancy, they will take head-to-head in the conversation. So if they did meet, I would say Bulger won that. I can't remember.
Hold on 1 second. I got his stuff up right here for PA Power. He wrestled Rehack. Let's see.
It would have been at the dual state tournament.
I don't see. Wrestled Jacobs. He wrestled Fennell from Derry and he won, so they bumped away.
Okay, so they bumped. Okay, so that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I think Chambers, Ickes, and Bulger are the 3 here.
He's lost to Hoist. He took a loss to Rehack 5-0, which is a AAA guy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, he's beat Tucker Smith, who's in this bracket just last week. He beat Jacobs from Burrow. I mean, he's got some pretty good wins in here. Widen it from Chestnut Ridge. Yeah, I agree with you, buddy. I agree.
Yeah, Bolger. I mean, the Chambers Ickes semi would be awesome,
Mhm.
and then I think Bolger kind of. I don't want to say walks to the finals, but I don't really see him being tested much.
Yeah, he's in a good spot.
Yeah, I just don't. I mean, Upson has Ickes ranked 1 in the region. Um, and that has so Ickes, Chambers, and Edwards are all on the same side of the bracket.
Yep.
And Jeff Upson has them ranked 1, 3, and 4 in the region. So based on his rankings, Bolger's all alone up top with the 5 seed or the 5
Yeah, he's
ranked
got a
wrestler.
nice spot.
So I think Bolger's, gonna not walk to the finals, but it'll be easy.
Moving on up, 121. We see our first Bassett, that being Keegan Bassett here at the 1 seed. Santa Maria of Tussey Mountain is your 2. Bubesh of Elizabeth Ford is your 3. Anderchuk is your 4, rounding out your top 4. Kaz, for me here, man, interesting to see Anderchuk and Bubesh at 3 and 4. Bassett's just, I'd be surprised if Bassett wasn't in the finals and won this way. Let's just say that. Agreed?
Yeah, and I think it could come down to a District 6 rematch with him and Max Dingus.
Yes.
There's a lot of depth in this weight class. There's 4 returning state medalists here with Bassett, Dingus, Santa Maria, and Wyden. And then Bubash, state qualifier, Anderchek, multiple times state qualifier, Hummel, state qualifier. Like there's a lot of depth at this weight, Donnie. And just looking at the brackets, like Anderchek and Wyatt meeting in the quarterfinals, same with Bubash and Dingus, assuming they both win their first, all 4 of them win their first round matchup. There's a lot of depth here. But I agree with you. I think you have to say Keegan Bassett's the favorite.
Agreed. All right, buddy. Let's move on up. 127. The next deputy, the older deputy, that being Dom deputy, is the 1 seed. Cam Baker, the 2 seed. Myers from Penns Valley is your 3 seed. How do you say that from Westmont Hilltop, buddy? The 4 seed.
Doulos, I believe.
Doulos is your 4 seed. Kostanovic is your 5 seed of Avonworth. Man, I would love to see a Deputy Baker rematch. What was it? The Ultimate Duels earlier this year?
Yeah, they wrestled at the Ultimate Duels. They wrestled at Bedford Finals and at
Damn, they wrestled 3 times this year.
The Burl Chestnut Ridge first round state playoff duel. They wrestled 3 times this year.
Wow. Did not know that, buddy.
Yeah, they have 3. And I think, to me, again, this is a collision course, Deputy and Baker in the finals. Kostanovic, Avonworth, I would say, is probably the next best guy here. Connor Myers out of Penn Valley is really good. But I don't see a world in which it's not Deputy versus Baker in the finals. Every time they wrestle, it's really good. It's entertaining. Both kids have a fun style to watch wrestle. It's actually been I'll call it a rivalry. I feel like they've been the same weight all 4 years. They're both seniors. They've wrestled a million times. Burl always seems to wrestle Chestnut Ridge every year, 5 different places. So yeah,
which
I
is
fully
wild.
expect to see I fully expect to see those 2 in the finals battling out for probably like the 15th time in their high school career.
Yeah, we'd have to do a side-by-side comparison on their stuff. Okay. Moving on to 133. Lucas Barr from McGuffey is your 1 seed. Bernash of Chestnut Ridge is your 2 seed. Carfley of Bishop McCourt is your 3 seed. Gwinnett of Bald Eagle is your 4 seed. Kat, for me here, Gwinnett is really tough out of Bald Eagle. Carfully out of Bishop McCourt. There's a bunch of landmines in this bracket here, buddy. How do you see the WPIAL boys playing out here?
This is a tough weight, man.
Yeah.
So Carfley, who was a District 6 champ, Gwinnett was the District 6 runner-up, and Carlisle was District 6 third. Jeff Upson has them ranked 1, 2, and 3 in the region. And they were in their district. They have Barr ranked 4th, or he has Barr ranked 4th. So there's a lot of depth here, especially from District 6. Even Brady Kostick, who took 4th out of District 6, he's ranked pretty high. This is, I would say, top to bottom, this weight class probably has the most, this and 160 in AA, I would say, has the most depth to it. There's a ton, I want to say there's 7 state qualifiers, a couple medalists in this bracket. I know Carfley, Gwinnett, Carlisle, Barr, Kostick, Tinsman, Thomas, they were all state qualifiers before. And then, Burnash has the wins over a number of kids here. Burnash didn't wrestle last year in the postseason. So a lot of depth here. If we saw a Carfley Gwinnett rematch from their District 6 finals, it wouldn't surprise me. The semis are going to be great. Barr and Carlisle in the quarters ranked 3 and 4. They're going to meet in the quarters. Some of these early round matches are having a huge impact coming back on the backside. You're going to see some backside matches that are both state medalist caliber guys just because of the depth here.
Yeah, just love cutting ourselves off at the knees. All right, 139. Owen McMullen of Bishop McCourt is your 1 seed. Tyler or T Willie, I'm not sure what it is. Trendon Willie. Sorry, is your 2 seed. McNeil of Derry is your 3. McClure is your 4. And what does that cause? For Bedford, there is your 5. Kozliak. Kaz, looking at this weight here, buddy, I think there is a good chance to get a couple of WPIAL boys out. Not just, who we think McClure, McNeil, we expect those kind of guys to get out. But I think, looking at the, 7-8 matchup, I think, Stewart can get in there. I think Caddis has a chance from Burgettstown to sneak in there. What do you think about this weight, brother?
Yeah, I think the WPIAL has a really good opportunity here to get a lot of guys. I'm pretty confident that McClure, McNeil, Stewart, and Mason Wright will all make it through. I think those 4 will all make it through the state tournament. And like I said, I think Caddis is right in that mix as well. From Burgettstown. McMullen kind of been the guy all year here at this weight. He didn't necessarily have a spot at times earlier with Jack's Forest when Forest was at McCourt. But still has wrestled a ton. He's 34 and 8, I think he is, 33 and 8. Yeah. I do expect good results from the WPIAL in this weight. McMullen's definitely the favorite, I would say. But, McNeil, McClure, Willie, Stewart, Niebauer from Central Cambria, I think they're all right there. Like any one of them can beat McMullen. But McMullen's definitely the favorite.
145. Mr. Bo Bassett is your 1 seed. Julian Bertucci of Burrow is your 2 seed. Shart from Myers is your 3, and Hillenbrand is your 4 out of Everett. Kaz, obviously, I'm not saying anything that is surprising here. Bassett's going to win this weight, and I guess it's just really, how many WPIAL boys we get through.
Yeah, this is one of the weights that I believe predetermining a bracket hurts. Just how it plays out, and it's based off of, the district. Bassett, Judice, and Garshnick are all the same region.
Yep.
And then, Bassett's clearly ranked 1. But Judice, Garshnick, and Bertucci are ranked 2, 3, and 4 in the region. They're all on the same side of the bracket. that's tough. I don't necessarily like how that's set up. You're going to see a Bertucci Garshnik quarterfinals match, and they're ranked third and fourth in the region. Um, the District 5 champ that Brennan Shart and his runner up Cannon Hillenbrandt, who are in the 4 and 5, or the 3 and 4 spot.
Before, yeah.
Neither of them are even ranked in the region. Um, so don't be surprised if Bislett from Ligonier Valley or Wrightweiser from Burgettstown win in that first round matchup over the District 5 champ and runner up. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But that bottom side, man, Judice is going to walk to the semis. I shouldn't say walk to the semis because Will McNeil's
I was going to say
good.
Willie McNeil has a chance, brother.
Willie McNeil's really good. If McNeil was in the spot above him, McNeil wins against the 5-1 champ, where there's no question about it. Like the winner, if Judice gets by McNeil, which I think he will. I mean, Judice took fourth in the state last year. Whoever Judice gets in the semis between the Bertucci and Garshnik winner, that's going to be a hell of a semi. Again, a lot of depth here. 5 state qualifiers, 2 state medalists here. But at the end of the day, Bassett, Judice, Garshnik, Bertucci, I think those 4 are the clear-cut 4. In one way or another, it'll work itself out to where they finish top 4.
Kaz, before we move on to 152 pounds, let's talk about one of our good friends, and that is D1 Wrestling Club down there in 51, Pennsylvania, all the way down 51, Pennsylvania, in Jefferson Hills, rather. That is James Fleming's club, one of the up-and-coming clubs, in my opinion, in the area. Really easy to access if you're in the lower southern part of the city. So again, like James Fleming, you go in there and talk to him. He is a savant, one of the smartest dudes to talk to in the wrestling game, especially the top. My man can ride, and he knows how to teach it very, very well. So again, check out James Fleming down there at D1 Wrestling Club. All right, Cass, let's move on to 152 pounds. Jonah Erdley is your 1 seed. Lawmason of Bald Eagle is your 2. Schaefer of Berlin's Brother Valley is your 3. Sheeler of Somerset is your 4. Butler of Bishop McCourt is your 5. And Lucas Boyer of Elizabeth Ford is your 6. I like Lucas Boyer's spot. He's got to get by Schaefer, but what do you think?
I fully expect Boyer to be in the semis, and I actually, looking through the bracket, I think Boyer will be in the finals against the winner of the Butler Erdley.
Let's go.
Butler Erdley semifinal. I actually think Boyer got a. I mean, I shouldn't say that because Lomason.
It's not a bad spot.
No, Lomason beat Butler last week. Boyer's the only state place winner in this bracket from last year. I think Boyer got a great draw out of this. I expect Boyer to be in the finals. Erdley and Butler most likely going to hit in the semis. That's going to be an awesome match. Butler's very physical in how he wrestles, and so is Erdley. That may be my most anticipated potential semis match, Erdley and Butler. I think that's going to be an entertaining, fun, physical match to watch.
I love that because I think this is, one of my favorite classes here. Obviously, a lot of what we talked about with Deputy there, with Mr. Miller being kind of the clear-cut favorite. But after that, I think this weight is going to be bananas, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, look at the depth here. I mean, Miller, Olson, Palco, Ivchik, Dana, Perkins, McKim, the freshman out of Huntington's a freaking stud. Braxton Carr, like there's this is just disgusting. I mean, Miller's gonna win it, obviously, but 2 through 7, holy hell, this will be a dogfight. You can throw the names in the hat and pick them out, and it could be correct in any different order. I'm gonna ride the hot hand and say Olson's the one who gets to the finals out of the bottom.
Ooh, I like it.
After
He has
winning
been
it last
wrestling
week.
great, man. He looked great
Yeah,
last week.
I'm just gonna ride the hot hand and say Olson finds his way to the finals. But that freshman Doug McKim from Huntington is phenomenal. Probably gonna place in the state. Um, he has three losses. One of them's to Melvin Miller. The other two, I can't recall who they are, but they're not bad losses. Um,
Kim.
but the WPIAL's going to get a lot here. I'm fully confident Miller and McKim get in. And in the other five spots, I have a hard time saying it's not five WPIL guys. Between Olson, Pelko, Ivchik, Dana, Perkins, and Carr, five of those six are going to be in. I believe so.
All right, moving on to 172 pounds. For me, man, one of my favorite dudes to watch wrestle right now, Mason Horwat, the 1 seed at 172 pounds. Porter from Myers is your 2 seed. Gun B from Bishop McCourt is your 3. Lizowski from Penns Valley is your 4 seed. Durst from Berlin's brother Valley is your 5 seed. And Willis from Laurel is your 6 seed. Kaz, for me, man, I would really love to see just Horvath continue to do what he's been doing all year, and that's get to the finals and in dominating fashion.
Yeah, my guess is that's what's going to happen.
Yep.
I don't see him losing in this bracket. Um, who he gets in the finals is yet to be known. If you told me Gunby went to the finals, I wouldn't be surprised. If you told me Willis was in the finals, I wouldn't be surprised. And if you told me Catula was in the finals, it wouldn't really surprise me. Um, Durst, the five or the I'm sorry, Porter, the District 5 champ. Um, don't know much about him. Looking back at his resume, I don't know how much competition that they wrestled. Um, so I think between Cthulhu, Gunby, and Willis, any one of those three could be in the finals against Horwat. I don't see anybody beating Horwat on the top side. But I think Lazowski of Penns Valley, who is the runner-up to Gunby, that kid's really good. I fully expect to see him in the semis and moving on.
189 pounds. We have Scott from Tyrone is your 1. Brady Brown from Derry is your 2. Imler from Chestnut Ridge is your 3. Yoder from North Star is your 4. Malachi Peak from Best Center is your 5. And Pensiero from Bishop McCourt is your 6. Kaz, talk to me about this weight class. Obviously, there's a bunch of Whipkill boys here that I think have a chance to do some things. That being like Dunlap, obviously Malachi Peak out of the 6th seed. Brady Brown, I think, has a good chance to make the finals. Pensiero is really good. That I think he has a chance of making the, seeing the semis. But give me your overall take on this weight, brother.
I think Scott's, the clear. I shouldn't say the clear favorite, but Scott's the favorite here. 4th in the state last year, I think it was. My biggest anticipation is the Brown Pensiero potential semis. I think Pensiero will beat Imler in the quarterfinals. But the Brown Pensiero semis on the bottom, I think that's maybe the highlight match before the finals of this bracket. I don't really think Scott will be tested much to the finals. He'll see. I think he's going to see a number of Whipple guys. I think he's going to get Dunlap in the quarters and then peak in the semis. They'll give him a test, but I don't think Scott Webb will be in a position to lose up until the finals against whoever he gets between Brown, Pensiero, or Imler. But I think Scott's definitely the favorite here. But from a Whipfield standpoint, Dunlap Peak, Brown, I'm pretty confident will advance. But the guys that are maybe on the border, like Peak and Dunlap, I think they have a really good shot. I like both of their spots in this bracket. And I have it played out to where I think they both are going to move on. I actually think Peak could wrestle for 3rd and 4. Peak and Dunlap both taking top 6. away from that blood round match.
Love it. All right, 215. Erdman from Huntington is your 1. Lehue from Beth Center is your 2. Snyder from Myersdale is your 3. Is that what it is? Myersdale? I said Myers. Yeah, Myersdale
Yeah.
is your 3. Grove from Everett is your 4. Carlson from Laurel is your 5. And Gordon from Bishop McCourt is your 6. Talk to me about this weight class, Kaz. I would love to see a bunch of WPIAL boys get through, that being like a Kuhn, a Carlson, obviously Lehue. I hope he does his thing. Beloga's right on the outside looking at it. I think he can get in there. Same with Blasco. Just talk to me about this weight, brother.
Lehue's been on fire
Woo!
of late, Donnie.
Yes, sir, he has. Not of late, honestly, all year. Like, he won some tournaments in the
Yeah,
middle of the year, and then he won sections, and then he won WPIALs. I mean, my man, with the select few, he's been great.
he's been really good. He's gonna get Gordon in the semis. I fully believe that. That's a great match. Um, if Lehue won this weight, it wouldn't, surprise me. And honestly, if Colton Carlson of Laurel won it, either it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, every rankings database had Carlson ranked ahead of Lehue all year. Carlson's a returning state qualifier where Lehue wasn't. Um, so they're both right there. If you told me either one of them won this bracket, I wouldn't be surprised. But Erdman and Gordon are both really good too. I don't know much about Ryan from Mount Union. He's slotted in that kind of 7th place. He was a district or 3rd place in District 6. But I think the WPIAL can compete really well here between kind of those two big names we talked about, Lehue and Carlson. But throw in Kuhn and Blasco as well, from Berlin Dairy.
The big boys. And for me, it begins and ends with Mr. Colin White of West Green. I've been so impressed with him this year. I said it last night. Been one of the best wrestlers, period, in the WPIAL, and I think he's going to take care of business and win this bracket. What say you, Mr. Kaz?
I think White and Rodriguez are on a collision course here.
Yep.
Looking at last year's results, Rodriguez took 3rd, White took 4th, so they wrestled for 3rd and 4th at states last year. But like you said, White's just been so good all year. How do you pick against him? I've never been one to go off of last year's results as data and info for this year's breakdown of stuff. I'll just go off what I see this year, and what I've seen from Colin White is he's the best wrestler in the region this year. But I fully expect White and Rodriguez. I think it'll be a great heavyweight match. Toss-up match, but see either of them winning it. But after that, I think the WPIAL does pretty well here with, you have Wilson, Peter, both Wilsons, Peters, Landon Heath. There's a number of kids in here that I think will do really well for the WPIL here.
All right, buddy. Before we move on to AAA, let's talk about our good friends that are up in the corner, the big sponsor of the show tonight, Quest School of Wrestling. That is Mr. Jim Akerley and company. One of the best clubs, not only in the WPIAL, not only in the state, but in the entire country. Go get trained up at Quest down there in 84, Pennsylvania. Really good spot, awesome training facility. I can't say enough about Jim Akerley and company, whether it's Connor Schramm or Peyton Hall rolls around a lot there. And when you walk in there, on a Sunday afternoon and watch some of the kids go, it's pretty entertaining. Literally some of the best kids in the WPIAL train there. So Quest School of Wrestling, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys. All right, Cass. Moving on. AAA.
I promise everyone we're not gonna bitch. I mean, maybe, but
My dude, this is what, like, we were I think it was like
The-
a bomb that set off whenever we saw these brackets. We were like, what the heck is going on? It was just insane. Uh, you
and
know,
just the, it's just, I mean, I get it. The other regions have to go wrestle somewhere, but like with how much of the bracket is made up of WPIAL kids, they're essentially wrestling the same tournaments they did last week, just sprinkling in a couple other names. It's like they're just gonna beat up on each other week after week after week. It's like, holy hell. I almost feel bad for the kids in a sense. I mean, I know they don't want any of the pity, but like, shit.
buddy, you're preaching to the choir, obviously. We said our piece last night. We flipped out, but it's just like you have to understand, not obviously you guys, you understand, but these people, and I hope it's the PIAA listening, and will give us one little soliloquy here. But these kids, these coaches, they work so hard. They work like ridiculous. It's not wrestling is not just a hey, you show up in October and it's over in March sport. These kids work all year round, all the whole time. I mean, 10 practices a week, a lot of times for a lot of these kids all year round. And to take opportunities away from those kids, from exactly what you said last night, Kaz, laziness is just a shame. It's a shame. So that's our little piece on that. I mean, Kaz, if you want to rip it one more time, you can, before we dive into these 107 brackets.
No, I'm good. I said
Okay.
my piece yesterday. It might
All right.
came up. It might come up at some point in this, but no, we're good
That
for
was it.
now.
Because it was just like the brackets here. It's just the seating is just non-seating, whatever. All right. Talk to me about this weight class, buddy. I mean, for me, when I did my preview here, it was hard for me to not see the same of what we saw in the WPIAL,
Yeah,
that being Johnson, Jennings, Dressman, and Thomas making the semis.
yeah. I mean, they're ranked top four in the region. They're in the same section. Finished top four in the WPIAL, and I don't. I really don't see an outcome where they don't finish top four in this weight here. Um, Dressman's going to hit Jennings in the semis, and Johnson's going to hit Thomas in the semis. I
In
think the
which
only per
Upson has them Dressman 1, Johnson 2, Thomas 3, Jennings 4. So that makes sense.
yeah, and
Which
he has
is
Riley Smith of Seneca Valley 5,
in sign
sign
6.
in 6, and then
Yep.
you have Sal Colangelo who took 6 in the WPIAL. He has him ranked 8th.
Yep.
Just the WPIAL, it's like this in every weight class within the WPIAL is the depth.
Yep.
But yeah, the top Dressman, Johnson, Thomas, and Jennings are going to be in the top four, I think. Um, I did looking at the bracket, it did catch me off. The 4 seed from Westinghouse, Nolan Rice. When I first saw it, I saw Nolan Rice. I'm like, wait a second, he's just
100%.
120.
Me
Yeah,
too.
is it 27? Like, what are we doing here? Caught me off. I'm like, shit,
Yep.
he's in this bracket too. Make it even tougher. Christ.
That would be a
But
wild one.
but it's tough not to pick Dressman here. I mean, he's going to
Yes.
get Johnson or Thomas in the finals, and we've seen how those matches go. Um, I think Lee Dressman might be the best 7-pounder in the state, to be honest with you. So
It is certainly trending in that direction, my friend. 114 pounds. For me, I guess this is where like my brain exploded. You look at the bottom of this bracket in the match that, a lot of people probably penciled in as, the WPIAL final last week in Nick McGarity and Zach Rehack, a first round match right off the rip, Cass.
yeah, I mean, I, I feel bad for Rehack.
Yep.
Um, he's getting the guy that's been ranked 1 in this weight class all year. In the first round. So yeah, I feel bad for Rehack here. Um, McGarry, I
Who you
mean, I hate
got?
to say
Who you
it, but
got winning
McGarry,
this? This weight's wild, dude.
I, I mean, McGarry's the favorite against Rehack. He has to be, right?
Yes. I don't know how many times they wrestled.
No, I should say he has to be because Ferraro beat beat McGarity, and then Rehak was dominant against Ferraro in the final. So I can't say that. I can't say
No, definitely
McGarity's the
no. And
favorite.
Rehak definitely you can't say that they're I would say it's a true coin flip. My thing is like you
I
go
would
out and
too.
win a
I agree
WPIAL
with that.
title and then you go and see this dude as your first match. And it's not that Rehak is not going to win this match. Obviously, we call it like a true coin flip match. It's just a shame that this is the first match after winning a WPIAL title. You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean,
I mean, is that the best? Is that the fucking freaking best first round matchup? I did it. I did
I
it.
wasn't the only one. Yes.
Is that the best freaking first round matchup we've ever seen in a regional
It's
tournament?
gotta be, buddy.
Like,
I
come
mean,
on.
what does Jeff have them? Upson have them.
1-3.
Yes. And Ferraro too, just because he beat McGarity, obviously. I'm
Yeah,
sure
and
they
all
were
these guys
probably
have
1-2
beaten each.
last week.
Yeah, and he has Alexander 4, Jackson Hoy 5, Barrett 6, Fennec 7.
Yep.
And like Barrett's beaten everybody in this weight class. McGarity's beaten everybody. Hoy has a win over Barrett. Ferraro has a win over Fennec. Fennec's beaten Rehak.
I'll say this.
Like,
Probably my
this is
favorite weight class,
everywhere.
buddy.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Like, if you told me right now Barrett and Fennec are in the finals, yep, could see it. Barrett and McGarity, yep. Rehak and Hoy, yeah. Ferraro and Franks, yeah. We're not even talking about Zach Franks, who's in this weight class, took 8th in the WPIAL, got in because they had a lack of qualifiers from a different district. Franks was a state qualifier last year. There's only 2 state medalists in the bracket and 2 other state qualifiers, and Frank's freaking one of them. I mean, this weight's awesome.
It's awesome.
I
And
don't know
even
who's gonna
say
win.
Alexander out of
pick?
Mifflin County.
Yeah, he's one of the state qualifiers.
Yep.
I
Awesome
don't
weight
know.
class.
I
One of
don't
those
know.
weight classes you got to be locked in both sides of the bracket, front side and back side.
I just want to run this down one time.
Do it.
Quarterfinals. Alexander, and here we go again. Who's to say Islamov doesn't beat Alexander in the first round? Because we've
100%.
seen
I was gonna say you're putting the cart in front of the horse with Mr. Islamov. Shamil's a dog, buddy.
Islamov take McGarity to the brink 2 weeks in a row. So like, yeah, Islamov could win his first round matchup. Islamov could be in the finals. The
We
depth
get an
here is
all
crazy.
WPIAL quarterfinal, buddy. Almost.
Islamov,
Almost.
Hoy, Ferraro, Barrett, you could. Fennec, Franks. Now you get 7 of 8. That's
That
the other
would
thing I
be-
don't get here, Donnie.
Yeah.
You have McGarity and Rehak wrestling first round in the WPIAL. The match right above them is a state college versus Brashear. Why can't McGarity just go there and wrestle? You would probably give him 8-2. You would probably give him what on paper the better seeded kid from, and then give Rehak 6.
We're talking reasoning. We're talking normal rationale
Yeah.
here, guys. We're not gonna get into that. We're talking normal thought processes here. All right, 121. Landon Sidden
Awesome.
of Norwin. Freaking, what more can you say? Number 1 dude in the country, going to Penn State, just on a roll. Very happy to see him back in the postseason after having an injury last year. Kaz, I just think he is on a mission this year, brother.
Yeah, nobody's touching him here or next week. Sidden's going to win the weight. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. Who finishes 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th and goes to states? That's the question. Gallegos and Kapusta, I think, are on a collision course to meet in the semis. I think that is a hell of a match. I believe Gallegos was a state runner-up last year. Kapusta was a state qualifier. I think those two are going to meet in the semis, and I would label that a toss-up match between those two. Anxious to see what happens on the top side. Colangelo sitting there. He's going to have a City League wrestler in the first round, so he's going to win. And who he gets in the quarters. I think this sets up nice to get Colangelo to the semis. And then he would run into Sidney and dropping down. He's probably going to run into assuming Gallegos beats Gretz, he's probably going to run into Gretz on the backside, maybe in the Conci semis in a match that I feel like they've wrestled 3 or 4 times this year. But yeah, it's Landon Sydney.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said there, Kaz. I'm really interested to see Kapusta. I think he has a good chance to make the semis there, but I think that Gretz Gallegos match is going to be really good. Gardner has a chance to upset Gallegos. I think he's had a up and down year, but I think he can beat anyone. Um, you know, just more of what you said. Siddon's the guy here, but man, this weight is going to be a lot of fun, brother. All right.
Yeah, without a doubt.
127 pounds. For me, another fun weight class here. Sloboda, your 1 seed. Barr, your 2 seed. Dobson of Punksy, your 3. Warner of Obama is your 4. And Davis is your 5. Canali is your 6. Looking at this weight class, buddy, obviously, Carsluccio and Barr is going to be a good matchup. We'll see how that one goes. But, man, I think a lot of WPIAL boys are going to get through. Klippa's got a City League kid there in Obama. I don't know. What do you think, Cass?
I think I think Sloboda will be in the finals. Who he gets is yet to be determined. I think the potential Bar and I think Canali could also see Rice
Yep.
in the semis. I expect Canali to be in the semis, but that Rice Bar potential quarterfinals match I think is very interesting. Obviously, by seed, they have Bar seeded ahead based off the bracket, but Rice placed in, I think Rice took 7th or 8th last year in the state. We saw him give Sloboda all he could handle last week in one of the best matches. So, selfishly, as a fan, I want to see Rice wrestle Sloboda just because of the entertainment factor of what it was last week.
It was awesome.
But I think Canali's in the best spot to make the finals here.
Yep. He's got a nice path, no doubt.
If I had to pick the bracket, I would probably say it's a Sloboda Canali final like we saw last week. That's not counting out Rice because he's there. It's not counting out Barr either because they're both really tough. But Canali's been really good all year. A state place winner. I think there's 3 or 4 state place winners here. The backside going to be interesting because I think there's a number of guys that can take top 5 here between Klippa, Davis, Barr, Rice, Canali. I'll throw Salah in there and Heverly out of Central Mountain.
I was gonna say Sala, man. I think he's sneaky, dude. Out of Mount Lebanon, he's leveled up really quick this year.
Yeah, and he got a good first round matchup with the District 9-10, champion. That not much coming out of that district. So I think we'll definitely see Salah and Canali or Salah in the quarterfinals.
133 pounds. Weaver of Altoona is your 1. Yannick is your 2. Thompson of Cranberry is your 3. Bottoms of Obama is your 4. Tolliver is your 5. And what is it there? Tarantella of Central Mountain is your 6. Interesting weight class here, man. We talked about it last night. The Snatchko Tolliver match. I think there's a good chance we see that rematch in the quarterfinals, brother.
I agree. I think we're absolutely going to see it in the quarterfinals, and that was a match that looked like it was going Snatchko's way, and then Tolliver answered. We didn't get to see it go full 7 minutes or 6 minutes. But I hope we do this time because it was shaping up to be very entertaining and competitive match. Snatchko mentally wants that one back.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be a great quarterfinal match between those two. Same with Emma and Weaver. Jeff Epson has them ranked 1 and 3 in the region, and they're going to meet in the quarterfinals. Emma's Emma's not going to have any trouble in the first round. I don't expect Weaver to either. So the top side of this bracket's fun, man. Weaver, Emma, Tolliver, Snatchko. That's fun. And I don't want to discredit Parker Joseph, the freshman out of Moon or out of Mars. Mars, a school we don't hear a lot of in wrestling. But with him and Olympic Sorreo, I'm not sure how to pronounce it.
We got to figure that one out because he's going to be a problem for the years to come.
Yeah, I don't want to discredit Joseph. Mars starting to get some movement with that program, so credit to them. As far as the bottom, Yannick and Stediford, they were the 1-2 seed at WPIALs, and now they're going to meet in the first round.
I was just going to say that, buddy. I was waiting till you were done, but that was another WPIAL and WPIAL crime 1-2 seed. They're in the first round, which is wild.
And I feel like they've wrestled a bunch too. They probably wrestled at the county.
Yeah, counties and stuff. I guarantee they've wrestled a bunch. NA and Moon are overlapping schedules, guaranteed.
And it's tough to pick against Yannick in this bracket. We've seen him all year.
He's looked fantastic this year. He really has. All right, let's see here. 139 pounds. And talking about a guy that has looked fantastic. Collier Hartman is your 1 seed. Winner is your 2 seed. What is it? Long from Belfont is your 3. Curacao from Dice is your 4. Slipinski of Erie is your 5. And Belasco of Norwin is your 6. Kaz, kind of more of what we talked about here. I mean, looking at this weight class, Hartman, I think, has a good chance to, make the semis and meet a potential Bencho. And Sorrell has a good spot there. He's going to meet Blasco. That matchup's really interesting to me. I think the quarterfinals is going to be really good in this weight class. Talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, Hartman definitely the clear favorite here.
Yes.
I mean, I watched him. I mean, Wenner did beat Hartman at Powerade. It may be Hartman's last loss this year.
I'm on it.
But then Hartman beat the brakes off him in the Fred Bell finals, and we've seen what he's done since then. Upson has Wenner ranked second here. I don't think Wenner's going to get to the finals just because of the grind he's going to have to go through. If Wenner's going to go to the finals, it's going to be an all WPIAL grind for him. He's going to have Daniel Smith of Connellsville in the first round, Chase Smith of Franklin in the quarters. If he gets past Smith, he's going to get Blasco most likely in the semis. I think it's going to be too much. I expect to see Blasco, Chase Smith round 6 in the semis here. And they're all great matches. And I don't really see Hartman tested on the top side here. I just don't.
Winner is his last match, the last loss, I'm sorry, at Powerade. Okay. And then from there, buddy, let me tell you something. He is on, let me count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys. He is tech followed the last 10 guys. That is Collier Hartman. Let me just, I gotta show. Yes, that is correct term.
Can you show the graphic?
Yes, I'm going to show it up. Let me see here. Which one is it? This one. Oh. Share screen. Look at that. And then, before that, Pin, Major. I mean, and the guys he's teching in there, buddy, they're not scrubs. Brooks Blasco, Thomas Bencho, Serco from Ringgold, Bencho again in there. I mean, this dude, Blasco again in there. He's on a heater, buddy.
Yeah, and his last the tech, and then before the tech was a Pin, and then it was his 14-5 or 14-6 major of Wenner in the Fred Bell finals, which I was on the call for that. And
look at this, man. He's
thought it was a display.
He is on a heater. I mean, tech fall, Pin, tech fall, major, tech fall. I mean, oh my goodness, dude. Talk about the real winner right there, the Naval Academy.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Let's do this one instead. Back to where we were at. But yeah, shout out Collier Hartman. Fully expect him to take care of business. But after that, man, again, it is going to be absolute madness in this weight class. All right, 145 pounds. Kyle Vielma of Connellsville is your one. Coons of Central Mountain is your two. What is that? Rutan of Punxsy is your three. Jackson of Obama is your four. Gall of Belfont is your five. Clinging Smith of Norwin is your six. Looking down this weight class for me, Kaz, I fully expect Kyle Vielma to take care of business and roll to the finals and win this weight. But after that, man, I think we can get a bunch of WPIAL boys, if not all the WPIAL boys, out of this weight class.
I do too. I mean, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not going to say Kai Vielma next topic, but it's close, right?
Yep. He's wrestling that good. He's another one. Let's look up his stuff. I mean, he's right there. Like, maybe not on the level of, like, say, a Landon Sitten, but man, he's got to be right below that as far as just dominance.
He's 43-3. My guess is two of those losses are at Powerade
Or Beast.
Or Beast. Yeah, Vielma's going to win the weight. It's who finishes 2 through 5. I think the WPIAL can have a nice showing with, Klingensmith, very good chance to get through. Same with Chacon, same with Finnegan of Cannon McMillan. And then I'm not going to count out like a Zach Hill either. So I don't know much about Rutan, who's the District 9 champ, 9-10 champ, but I think it's Vielma winning it for sure. But fully expect Klingensmith to make it to the state tournament. And if Finnegan or Chacon or Hill did as well out of the WPIAL, it wouldn't surprise me.
Look at Kai's recent results, buddy. You want to talk about someone that's been dominant too? Penn, Tech Fall, pretty much the entire way down. The only one he has is the major, and that was at the team tournament there when they wrestled each other for third and fourth, I believe, with Aiden Finnegan. But man, Kai Vielma,
Yes.
another one of those guys that has been absolutely dominant down the stretch here.
He's firing off cylinders at the right time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. All right. 152 pounds. And before we do 152 pounds, let's hear a quick word from our sponsors.
Hi, my name is Antonio Reyino, owner of Reversal Health and Wellness. I've been in healthcare for nearly 20 years and seen the effects obesity can have on someone's health. That's what inspired me to offer GLP-1 therapy at Reversal Health and Wellness. New evidence-based research has shown remarkable benefits of the therapy, including reversing fatty liver disease, improvement of sleep apnea, and slowing the progression of heart and kidney disease. And unlike national online companies, you won't get lost in the mix and you're not just another number. You'll receive a personalized treatment plan tailored to your goals and your health. And if you're not near Newcastle, Pennsylvania, no worries. Telemedicine options are always available. Also at Reversal Health and Wellness, we offer IV hydration therapy. We offer 7 different IV cocktails infused with nutrients designed to restore balance, boost energy, and support optimal health. Rather, if you're an athlete training for a competition, or a fatigued mother or two, or recovering from an illness, IV hydration will benefit you. We're located in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, on Wilmington Road at the Maison Building. You can either book online or call the office. Thank you.
All right, buddy. So let's get right back into it.
Where are we at? $152, I believe.
Yeah.
152. WPIAL's going to do well here.
That one. This one. All right. 152 pounds. Rip it, Kaz.
James Whitbread, State College, your number 1 seed. Mikey Ruane out of Franklin, your 2. Samson Deeb out of Du Bois, your 3. And Daniel Cabinets of Obama, your 4. Owen Campbell, your 5 out of Plum. 6 is Ezra Swisher out of Belfont. I could see an all WPIAL semi here. I think Ruane and Whitbread are the top 2 on paper here. But I'm not going to count Noah Curran out. I think Curran has a really good shot to beat Whitbread and be in the semifinals here for Norwin. But the quarterfinals are interesting. Like Griffin Reed's going to win his first round match. I'm fully confident in that. We could see a Reed Swisher quarterfinal match, as well as Lily. I have a very good chance to win that first round match, to where we could see a Lily Campbell quarterfinal where Campbell took second, Lily took fourth. So I think I hate to say it, but I think there's going to be a really good WPIAL wrestler left out here, and that's not even bringing up Rook Smith, who is a returning state medalist. He's going to face Ruane in the first round here. Smith is 6th in the WPIAL, but he took 8th in the state last year. So throw him in the mix. Throw him in the mix too. I think Whitbread and Swisher are definitely going to find their way, and Ruane are definitely going to find their way to the state tournament. But between Campbell, Curran, Lilly, Reed, Rook Smith, there's going to be a couple really good wrestlers, left out. I feel for them, but there's a lot of depth at this weight class.
Yeah, no doubt. You go. Upson has them. Swisher as the 2, and then Ruane is the 3, all the way down to Fisher as the 9, the first honorable mention. I mean, very, very deep there for the WPIAL. And I agree. And, that's not to say I could see fireworks, just upsets abound in that weight class.
Yeah.
All right. 160 pounds. Campoli of Altoona is your 1. Gibbons of Mount Lebo, your 2. Stay of Meadville, your 3. Elsler of Brashear, your 4. White of Norwin, your 5. And McDermott of Central Mountain is your 6. Kaz, talk to me about this weight class here, man. We're going to see another Gibbons-Calgaro match. Those 2 have wrestled a bunch this year. But Say is pretty good out of Meadville. He draws Lily in the first match there. Just give me your overall thoughts.
I think similar to AA 160, AAA 160 from a WPIAL standpoint is loaded. I mean, there's so much depth. I think Gibbons being in this 2 seed has an easier path to the finals than Campoli does as the 1 seed. Drawing Calgaro first round is rough. I mean, Calgaro lost 4-2 to Gibbons last week. That's a brutal first round matchup, and then he's probably going to get Lawther of Ringgold, who took 3rd, has a win over Jack White. White redeemed or rebounded from that win last week. But yeah, I see Gibbons' path to the finals easier than Campoli from a top 2 seed standpoint. I think Jack White and Cooper Deet's going to meet in the quarterfinals here. I do have to, as much as we complained about stuff, Elijah Elzer, the City League champ from Brashear, 16-5. He was here last year and won a number of matches. He's going to be in the hunt to take top 5 here.
He's one of those that belong. Sure.
I don't think he's going to take top 5, but he's a tough out. He's a tough out for anyone. So I do want to give my props to him from Brashear, Elijah Elser. Him and Cooper Dietz will be a good first round matchup. Absolutely will be a good first round matchup. I do see Dietz winning that match though, so I think we're going to have a pretty heavy WPIAL presence in the quarterfinals, potentially 6 of them.
I like it. All right. 172 pounds. Teague Sanderson. That's it. Teague Sanderson is your 1 seed. LeBrier of Thomas Jefferson is your 2 seed. Moore from Punxsutawney is your 3. Lane from Westinghouse is your 4. Costa from Moon is your 5. McHale from Bellefonte is your 6. Kaz, talk to me about this weight class, man. LeBrier has been on a heater. Michael Lawrence is definitely not an easy first-round matchup by any stretch. But, man, I like the WPIAL to get a bunch of dudes out here.
Yeah,
Maybe all of them.
Going through my bracket, I there was a ton here. I filled this one through. I think all 5 qualifiers are WPIAL guys here.
Let's go.
The thing that surprised me was Sanderson getting the 1 over LeBrier. I mean, Sanderson doesn't score any prestige points from last year, where LeBrier does. In their based off their records this year and bonus points, I was surprised to see Sanderson get the 1. I think LeBrier is going to be in the finals against the winner. I think Morvay beats Sanderson. Morvay's ranked 3rd in the region. I think Morvay beats Sanderson. I think Kinsey's going to give Sanderson a heck of a match. I think the winner of Morvay, I think Morvay's going to be in the semis, but you have Cartwright and Costa in the quarters, which we've seen go both. Yeah, we've seen that go both ways. So I think Morvay's going to get the winner of Costa Cartwright. The winner of that versus Morvay could go either way. And then on the bottom, Sidney Hand from Penn Trafford, he's the 5th. He's going to get a kid from Punxsutawney who's not ranked anything. I think Hand's going to win that match. And then he's going to get, most likely the McHale from Bellefonte, who's not ranked either. Hand's been ranked. I think Sidney Hand's going to be in the semis as the 5 against LeBrier. I think Costa, LeBrier, Cartwright, Morvay, and Hand are all going to move on. I really do. And I think if Michael Lawrence was in a different spot, he could as well, just how the bracket falls.
Yep.
I think there's going to be 5.
Give me 5 WPIAL boys out. Let's go.
5 WPIAL boys, just because if it plays out how I think it is, if Morvay beats Sanderson, where Sanderson would drop in the bracket would give him Lawrence, and if he wins that would give him Cartwright. I don't. Cartwright already beat Sanderson this year. I watched it at the state tournament. I think all 5 WPIAL guys are going.
189 pounds. Mario Hutcherson is your 1 seed. Down there, Long from Bellefonte is your 2 seed. Scott from Obama is your 3. Gunther from Harbor Creek is your 4. Williams from State College is your 5, and Hunter Snyder from Latrobe is your 6. Kaz, for me, man, obviously Mario Hutcherson is probably the clear class of this weight, but man, there's a bunch of landmines here, and I think Hunter Snyder has a great chance to rematch Mario in the finals again this week. Yeah,
I mean, Hutcherson's going to be in the finals. Who he gets? Snyder, he's going to be in the semis. Who does he get? Does he get Jackson Long of Bellefonte, or does he get Bryce Collins of Cannon Mac, who took him to overtime last week? We watched that match. It was awesome.
Awesome match.
And then, if Collins is the guy in the semis, based off of what I saw last week, that's a toss-up match. I think you would still say Snyder a slight favorite, but don't tell Collins that after the match he wrestled against him
100%.
last
I'm sure
week.
He thinks he got him.
Yeah, so it very well may be a toss-up. If Collins won that match, it wouldn't shock me at all. But I think on paper, the obviously Hutchison's the class of this division. On paper, I feel like people would lean towards Snyder being the next guy, but I, Collins is right there.
100%.
He really is. He's right there. As far as the top half of the bracket, I did the Noah Williams from State College. He's only a freshman wrestling in this kind of big boy weight class. I saw him at the state tournament. He's really good, Donnie. I think he's a kid that can definitely advance in this bracket and potentially make the state tournament.
Yeah, and you know as well as I do, to be that at that weight class as a freshman, you kind of have to be a little bit of a stud. And definitely, I'm sure he is one of those. Looking down the rankings here, he's fourth. So yeah, I mean, there's going to be a whole mess of madness.
Can I make an upset pick?
Absolutely.
Pencil it in right now. Just pencil it in.
Ink.
Nez Green over Jackson Long.
Let's
round.
go. Give me some Nez Green. I was gonna think about that. I mean, that's gnarly stuff. I mean, Nez Green. We've watched. I mean, we said Hunter Snyder has a good chance to make the finals. What do we always talk about? The Nez Green Hunter Snyder match. I don't care what you're doing. Watch that match. You want to get your juices flowing. That will do it.
I'm calling it right now. If Nez Green's going to beat him, and Matt Baker's going to owe me a Diet Coke for it.
Oh, I love that. That's even better. All right, where are we at, buddy? 215 pounds.
Maybe the most top heavyweight class. Oh, I shouldn't say maybe. This is the most top heavyweight class.
Agreed.
I mean,
Because after you go, the top
Yeah.
three, I mean, it's definitely, there's tiers, right? We talk about tiers all the time. Elijah Brown, Cooper Roskowski, and Kendall Hoare are ranked top three according to Jeff on PA Power. And then after that, I mean, you got a tier break, right? I mean, you can probably put at least 3 or 4 different guys in that tier between Collins. Otts kind of came out of nowhere. Hockenberry from Belfont's pretty good. Karras there from Central Mountain. Tustin, of course. That Tustin Hockenberry match, I don't know. I mean, whoever wins that one,
that's an incredible first round matchup.
And it may not matter because they have to go against Roskowski, but it's gonna matter for the backside. You know what I mean? That's
Absolutely.
where whenever you win those first, because it flips whenever it comes back to the backside. So I don't know, Kaz. Give me your thoughts on this one.
I mean, Brown's going to be in the finals. Just who does he get? I mean, we saw Roskowski beat the brakes off of Hoare earlier in the year. But Hoare beat Brown. Brown's only lost this year is to Kendall Hoare. Hockenberry in there. This is tough. I mean,
very.
The bracket's set up the way it should be, with Brown up top, Roskowski and Hoare down there meeting in the semis. I think the bracket's set up the right way. That Roskowski Hoare semifinal is going to be incredible. Like I said, Roskowski, beat him up pretty good earlier in the year. But I think,
like, the only thing you could say is like, who finds Brown in the top semis? Is it Ott sneak through there?
I think you have to go with Ott.
Right.
It has to be Ott, and that's going to put him in a really good position.
On the backside.
Just getting to that semis. I think other than Hoare's going to advance, but I think the other 4 are WPIAL guys. I think Brown if I had to say right now, Brown, Roskowski, and Hoare are in.
Yep.
And then the last 2 spots between Hockenberry, Collins, Ott, and Tustin.
Yep.
And I don't know much about Hockenberry. I think Tustin's going to beat him in the first round.
Let's go.
So it's going to be interesting. But I think where Ott is in the bracket, I think that puts him in the best position compared to Tustin and Collins. But I think Braden Collins can give Kendall Moore a match.
Those you can't count out either Collins boys.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, they're
I
both
think he
awesome,
can.
man. I really
Uh,
love watching those two
and
go.
even if Collins were to drop that match to 4, it on the
Good
backside
sneaky
it
path.
doesn't. Yeah, it looks. If I'm doing this correct, if Ott were to go to the semis and Collins loses to Hoare, if I'm doing this correctly, I believe Collins and Ott would meet in the Conci semis.
For the right to go.
Yeah, one would guarantee and one would drop into that blood round
Right,
match.
right.
And they're 1-1 against each other. They wrestled twice last week, and Ott won the quarterfinal match, and Collins won the match for third and fourth.
Oh
Oh,
man.
that's tough. This is one of those ones that like Collins took third and Ott took fourth, but it on the front side of the bracket, at least the draw puts Ott in a better spot to get to the
Yes.
semis, at least. But getting to the semis doesn't always mean it's a better spot in the bracket because of the backside.
And that's the thing, as we're getting ready to wind down here, a lot of times, not a lot of times, I mean, there's some times where there is great spots for some of these kids that, have great opportunities to, take advantage of by where they're at in the bracket. But that doesn't mean it's right. That doesn't mean that what we're going through and we're talking about all this stuff, that doesn't mean these bracket placements are right. So, more of what we said yesterday, just do the right way, man. 285 pounds. The big boy, Cam Dana, is your 1 seed. WPIAL champ Burkett of Punxsutawney is your 2. Pinky of Westinghouse is your 3. Payne of Hollidaysburg is your 4. Lucerini of Lucarelli of Cranberry is your 4 or 5, I'm sorry. And McConna of North Allegheny is your 6. Talk to me about this weight class here, Kaz, the big boys.
I could see this going a lot of different ways. Dana, rightfully so, earning himself the 1 seed with his performance last week. I think Dana comfortably gets to the semis, to where I would lead towards it being Edric Williams, a Trinity that he gets. Um, Williams, Williams' injury defaulted his third and fourth place match late in the match at Whippeals, and he was kind of limping on his ankle a little bit. I hope he's okay and does compete. He seemed to be moving around better after, but I can't guarantee
The bottom
that.
side of this bracket is gnarly, dude.
Yeah,
Like Montgomery
think-
can definitely make a run. Like if you told me Montgomery beat McConna, I wouldn't be surprised. Obviously, I think McConna is probably the favorite to get to the finals, but I mean, dude, there's landmines all over the place on the bottom side of that bracket.
Yeah, the top 6 guys ranked here are all WPIL, and 7 of the 8 ranked in the region are WPIL, with Wycheck of Seneca Valley being ranked 8th. So on that bottom side, I fully expect to see an all WPIAL quarterfinal weigh in, with Montgomery wrestling McConna, Carmona wrestling Grisoulis. Carmona, man, he's another one of those guys, just tough to. You don't hear much about it. I think some of it may have to do with Cannon Mack has 2 heavyweights, and he doesn't wrestle every single match because they have another heavyweight who's good too. I mean, it's a good problem
Carmona
to
gave
have.
Cam Dana a match, and what was the quarterfinals? I mean, I think it was double or triple overtime, something wild
Yeah,
like
and he
that.
ended up taking third. He was
And he's
beating
big,
Edric.
buddy. Like he's like 6'4".
He
Like
is.
he's a big human to move around.
Yeah, I want to say Carmona. I think it was Montgomery that he beat in the Conci semi. Yeah, it was Montgomery he beat in the Conci semis, because I believe Williams beat Grisoulis in the Conci semis last week. Dana, McConaughey, and Carmona, I think are in. I think where they're at in the bracket, I think those 3 are in a really good spot to advance. I think the Montgomery McConna quarters match is interesting. Kind of a clash of styles. And And it's a class. I mean, McConaughey's the guy who's been there the last 4 years. Montgomery only a sophomore.
He's
Spent
gonna
some
be
time at
problems, buddy.
215. Yeah, he is. Um, I don't. Dana winning the WPIAL was huge for whoever won the WPIAL was getting a great spot in this bracket. Just looking at it,
Yep.
because the meat grinder on the front side
Bottom
of this
side.
bracket is in the bottom.
Yep.
It's in the bottom. To where the top, I think, is a lot easier, which, I mean, the reason you're the 1 seed is because you get the easiest path. That's how it should be. Do we see a Dana McCona rematch? Do we see Williams and Carmona? I think Dana and Williams. So they wrestled the past 3 weeks, right?
Yes. And it's gone Williams, Dana.
Williams, Dana. So you could treat that as a toss-up match.
Yep.
And then
100%.
really anything on that bottom. I mean, I could see Montgomery coming out. I could see McConaughey coming out. Could see Carmona.
Yep. And Grizzolius is sneaky from Plum too, buddy. He can go.
He is.
He's
But
he's like one of those like right below the top tiers, I feel like, but I agree, man. Like that whoever emerges from that bottom side is definitely going to be battle tested and ready to go.
I mean, I'm very confident in saying that all 5 qualifiers are going to be WPIAL wrestlers, right? Would you agree
Yes.
with that?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
It's just which 5
yeah, exactly. Which 5?
and what order.
Correct.
And as we've seen tonight, that is very, very important because next week is a lot more of the same, a lot of predetermined bullshit.
So I just want to go through just to make a point here.
Go ahead.
I went through how it would fall on the backside of this bracket, to where I'm gonna try to explain this. The loser of the Montgomery McCona match and the loser of the Carmona Grizulis match would meet in the Consi quarters. So one of those 4 in that pod are going to be eliminated before the 5th. And if all 4 of them win in the first round, one of those 4 is going to be eliminated before the Consi semis, just of how the bracket falls. Because Burkett would be on the bottom side of the losers bracket, to where Burkett's going to have a pretty easy path to the Consi semis if he were to lose that first round match, to where Burkett would get the bottom side of the bracket loser in the Consi semis. I know it's tough to paint the picture for you guys, but winning that quarterfinal on the bottom side is huge because it puts you in a better spot into the Consi semis. I know it's tough to explain, but you guys who can memorize brackets and that,
you can paint it. They see it. They see it.
Yeah.
They see it. And I think we had to do one little quick shout out to Philip Rierick, who kind of injury defaulted out. State 7th place medal last year. Got to give him some love as a guy that's sitting at home who has beat every one of these guys. So
yeah, would have been
if
the
he would have won
WPIAL,
he would have been the 1 seed.
Yeah, and was probably the favorite to win last week. So unfortunate for Philip Rierick, but wish him the best.
Absolutely, brother, man. All right, dude. Well, we did our second show, an hour and 25 minutes, a little less than what it was last night. I guess for me, man, we will have a show next week. We'll figure out the time and the day and all that. But Matt Taylor will be on. We'll break down both AA and AAA WPIAL, or not WPIAL, state brackets at that point. And it'll be a lot of fun as always. But Kaz, give me your overall thoughts of tonight.
I thought it was a great show. We got to dive into these brackets for everyone. I'm excited for this weekend. I think that the WPIAL is going to have a very good showing in AA and in AAA. Obviously, the WPIAL is going to have the most state qualifiers
No way.
in AAA, and fully expect the same in AA. There's a little more parity in AA, but the WPIAL should still kind of handily have the most qualifiers out of the Southwest AA region. But I'm excited for this weekend. I'll be at Cannon Mac both days. I'm assuming you will be also.
Probably. Yep.
So we will see you guys there. Come say hello.
Where's Double A at, bud?
AA is at Altoona High School.
Okay, cool.
I miss
yeah.
it it used to be in the Kowalczyk Center, which was awesome.
That's what I told my brother. I thought that's where it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. But yeah, that makes sense because it was Altoona where Jack's Forest took that loss a couple
Yes,
years
to
ago.
Vargo.
To Vargo.
It used to be
yeah.
back in the day when it was at the Johnstown War Memorial, man. That was a great environment.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually looked at a truck down there. I passed right by the War Memorial, and
Awesome
funny.
venue. Old school.
Yeah, the dude that was, he was trying to butter me up, so I can buy this truck, but he was like, your last name's Hall.
Was trying
exactly.
trying to butter you up. Come on.
Of course. Right. So he came out and he's like, you ever heard of this guy? And his name was like D-Hall of the, it's like one of the Johnstown players. I guess he was telling me he played in Slapshot and all this other stuff. But yeah, it was pretty wild. But yeah, man, that's a cool arena out there. I mean, I wrestled in it. Remember back in the day when PJWs was there every year?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I wrestled in it 1 year out there. But yeah, it's a good little spot, and I'm interested to see how it all plays out. And then, state brackets come out. That's whenever it gets to be a lot of fun. We'll have Matty T on there. That'll probably be a 2-hour plus minimum show.
Yeah, that's
easily.
always a long one.
Yeah, for sure. But all right, Kaz, again, another great show, brother. And, we will see you at Cannon Mac this weekend. Again, if you guys are out there and you see us, come say hello. And good luck to you wrestlers out there. And, get some chocolate and get to Hershey. Later.